guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hey, I'm Lauren and I share personal finance tips as well as my own family's journey to get our financial life in order, pay off debt, increase our net worth, all that good stuff. So if you like videos like that, then make sure you hit subscribe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. In today's video, I thought we'd get back to the basics. Just if you are starting out with your debt-free journey, what are some easy, simple things you can do to make your debt payoff go faster? Because I know firsthand that at the beginning of a debt payoff journey, it feels very overwhelming. You may feel frustrated and it may be hard to figure out the right strategy. So you're kind of just trying different things out to see what works best and you're not really sure what direction to take your strategy. And your strategy is really important because having a strategy helps you be more consistent, and being consistent is the biggest thing you can do to help your debt payoff journey be successful. So tip number one is to make any extra payments that you're making towards debt to one debt you're targeting, and target one debt at a time. So you want to pay your minimum payments on all your debts if you have multiple debts, but then if you have extra payments that you're making, and hopefully you do so you can make things go faster, put all of that money just to one debt and try to get one debt paid off at a time. When we weren't really serious about debt payoff, we were paying extra, but I would put like $100 towards one debt and then an extra $25 to this debt and then maybe an extra like a couple bucks here or there, and I really wasn't being consistent with a strategy and focusing on one debt at a time. So while we'd make little dents in progress in different debts, it didn't feel satisfying and I felt really demotivated because it made the progress go so slow. So one way to speed up the progress is just put everything extra you have towards that one debt that you're focusing on and get that debt paid off before you put anything extra towards any other debts. My next simple tip to speed up your debt payoff progress is that extra that you're putting towards one debt, put it towards the debt with the highest interest rate. Now there's a lot of different strategies for paying off debt and philosophies on which debt you should focus on first, but if you want to go as fast as possible and get your debt paid off as fast as possible mathematically, the best way to do it is to focus on the highest interest debt first. The reason for this is because the highest interest debt is your most expensive debt. It's charging you the biggest percentage each month, and if you get that debt paid off first and it has the highest interest, let's say it's a credit card that has a balance of $5,000 and an 18% interest rate. If you get that debt paid off and you're paying, let's say $300 a month towards it or $500 a month towards it, and then you take that $500 a month and put it towards your next debt, that $500 a month that you're rolling into your next debt is going to be going towards principal a lot more, and you're going to be wasting less money on interest because that high interest debt will have gotten paid off. And that's something we've experienced. As we've gotten our high interest debt paid off, our payments, even though some months they're lower, we're still paying off more principal off our debts because our high interest debts are all paid off now. And that's a really great feeling. High interest debt also just feels like more of an emergency because it can accrue interest so aggressively because it is such high interest debt. Especially, like I said, credit cards have sometimes like 18, 20, 25% interest, or worse, like payday loans and stuff like that. So the highest interest debt, getting that paid off, getting that out of your life, you will get this big relief, this big burden that's lifted that will motivate you through the rest of your debt payoff. And again, mathematically, it'll help you get your debt paid off the fastest. Now, one exception to this rule is if you have student loans, particularly federal student loans. If your federal student loans have a higher interest rate than, let's say, a car loan, and depending on what forgiveness programs or sort of strategy you're doing with your student loans, paying the most towards your student loans if they have the highest interest rate at any given point may not be the best strategy. I don't pretend to know all the ins and outs of the federal student loan system. It is so beyond complicated, and if you have large federal student loans, like $50,000 or more, and you don't know exactly what you're doing or have a strategy or know what programs you might be eligible for forgiveness or income-based repayment and stuff like that, then I would definitely recommend you consult with a professional. The company that I'm familiar with is Student Loan Planner. I've talked about them before. This is not sponsored by them, although if you guys want to sponsor me, I'm open to a sponsorship. But yeah, Student Loan Planner, they're experts in crafting student loan plans, and they are on top of all the latest developments with student loan forgiveness and stuff like that. So if you have large federal student loans and you're not sure what you're going to do or what your strategy is going to be, then I highly recommend you set up a consult with them or some other company that does similar work to them. I don't know of any others, but set up a consult and get a plan in place, because there's a lot of opportunities right now for forgiveness. Things are changing quickly and there's deadlines for things, and if anybody's eligible for a program that they maybe don't know about. I would hate for you guys to miss out on that opportunity. So if you want to book a consult with them, I do have an affiliate link. I will put the link in the video description. And so just so you guys know, I do get a commission if you guys book with them, but I think they're great. I think it's really important that you get professional advice on your student loans if you don't have a good understanding of the programs. So that would be my only caveat to paying the highest interest debt, is if you have student loans, you know, make sure you know what you're doing with your student loans. All right, my last tip to pay off your debts faster is don't wait till the end of the month to make your debt payments. I know a lot of times debt auto drafts at a certain date on the due date, and you get some sort of discount for setting up an automatic payment. So I wouldn't change those around if you have that set up. But for those extra payments that you're making, like let's say you have your budget and you set up your budget for the month and you look at everything and you say, okay, we're gonna be able to afford an extra $200 in debt payments this month. Don't wait till the 30th of the month to say, do we have that $200 lying around still or not, to make that payment. Make it as soon as you have that money in the month and get it taken care of, because that way you don't accidentally spend that money on something else and just leave it sitting around. I think this is also really important to change your mentality from we're gonna use whatever we have left over to make financial progress versus this is the amount we've budgeted that's non-negotiable that we're gonna use to make financial progress. So if you treat it as a bill, your bills aren't optional at the end of the month if you have money left over. So treat these extra debt payments you're making as a bill, put it towards the beginning of the month and get that thing paid at the beginning of the month so you don't accidentally spend that money. So that is it for today's video. I have so many other debt payoff tips, but I just wanted to make a simple video if you're starting out and you just need a couple things to kind of tweak your strategy and get started and increase the speed of your progress, that you can just, you know, start with a couple things and not get overwhelmed with having a video with like 20 tips in it. So these are my 3 most important tips, simplest tips that I could come up with for faster debt payoff. These are all things that we did at the beginning of our debt-free journey, and I'd highly recommend you do them as well. As always, personal finance is personal, so if any of these don't make sense for you, they don't work with how your brain works or how you feel emotionally about your debt, then don't follow them. But as long as you have a strategy and you are making consistent progress on your debt payoff, you will be able to get it paid down to 0. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. It really helps on my channel. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, hit that red subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye.